Okay, we are back. So, I think for this distance to player, we'll just add a simple right here, a find game object. Find the player, tag player. There we go. Done. Now in this guy, let's just get rid of that. So this guy is player, tagged properly. Let's move the camera over because I still haven't done that. And just go whoop. Okay, so apparently we're hitting the player. We could always mask that out as well so that we're only hitting train and stuff. We can avoid the player. Right, so it's technically even, but we've gone out of that distance now. So it's not going to be, it's just not going to give us that green. Right, when we get closer and we're collision free, we can now build. Right, so let's layer mask that player out real quick. Invert the player layer. Our player needs to be on that layer because now if we line up, it'll just go right through the player, right? So we can put it at our feet or whatever the case may be. Okay. So now we want a way that if we hit build or something, that we actually reduce the stuff that we want and close our inventory. So I'm pretty sure I don't think because it didn't close. I had to close that, right? If I hit craft and hit create, yeah, okay. So here, if we go crafting, he sends us a vent. Now, if we get an event saying like, okay, it built, then we need to reduce some quantities here. So let's how do we want to do this? Okay, so we get the array typing questions. We don't want to go back. So we don't want to run through this stuff because we're going to maintain this recipe. So from this recipe, we now need to reduce this stuff. We need to reduce 10 wood kind of idea. So array typing question, the recipe name. So he's finding the recipe name, or with the recipe name. We have the name, the needed quantity. So we need this number here, because we have to subtract this number. From this quantity. Type integer, result quantity. So, player contained index. So all we need now is player contained index, that integer. So array, oh, too many R's. Array list set. Right? So we want to get that guy at player contained index. Oh no, we have to loop through this thing, don't we? So let's duplicate this. Alright, so we are going to array typing question. We're going to loop through this. We're not going to change those values though. Right? So more or less, let's just copy all of that. This is going to be our building, subtracting method down here. Right, so we're going to loop through all of this. And when he's done, he can go back up there. And we're going to find the names. And when it's true, we're going to get the needed quantity at this index, but we don't need to compare it anymore. That's the one thing we don't need to do. But instead, we need to subtract. And we're also not going to have a false here either, because we should already have it, because we've done that check up here. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Get rid of him. So instead, we want to int subtract. So the array get the needed quantity from quantity currently has quantity, subtract the needed quantity, and then array list set. This needs to be at the bottom, and this copy paste player contained index that, and it's a type int, and the value we are setting is a currently has quantity, because that's what we subtracted from. So there we go, just like that. So this is our subtract thing. So we do our testing, we come over here, he sends the event. Now we need to either, it's going to get, let's make a couple more events here. It's either going to get canceled, actually we can probably just add this right here. It can either get cancel. And if it gets canceled, we're just going to go up here. And the other thing it could happen is, we'll say built. And if it's built, then we'll come down here. Now the other thing we want to do is when we loop through here and we're doing all this fun stuff, we also want to deactivate that crafting. Right, so should we use the control system? And let's do, so if we are here, okay, well, let's say we're over here. The inventory is open. If we're going to close our crafting, we need to destroy that. That doesn't matter. We need to destroy crafting and come back over here. So we close. All right, so let's just add an event. Here. Called building. Now, when we come into here, we can also send an event to ourselves under control building, so that our inventory is going to close and do all its proper stuff. Oh wait, no, because that's going to force him over here. We don't want that to happen yet, do we? No, we don't. We do not want that to happen. Okay, so tell you what we'll do. We're just going to deactivate them for now. Just with a simple activate and deactivate. Just tell him to deactivate. And then if we cancel or we're done, either or, just before we actually head back up to here. Actually, we don't have to go to here because we're actually closed. Let's just go up to here. In fact, we don't even need that. We can just go like that. And just get rid of him. There, we won't go back up here because our inventory is closed. We're not waiting for another click. We're doing this portion. So this guy has all of this, right? So he's gonna set. So he needs a get button. We'll say get mouse button down. We're gonna try to build. And if we try to build, what do we need to do? We need to get FSM bool of, use this reference, is good. Only this is not of that. This will be to build this, right? Because that is currently building. Sorry, of him. And bool test. So is good. So if it's true, we will finally build it. And if not, we will. We can't. And if we can't, then just go back over here. But if we can, then we need to send event again. I'm going to use this guy just for references to color that he is build, and we need to also send an event. I'm just going to copy him. To this guy under crafting to build. The other thing we can do is, what if we get the right mouse button? Let's cancel. So what is canceling? Canceling is simple as paste, cancel, and destroy the current building. All right. And just for testing purposes, I'm just going to add a mouse look on this guy. Bring him down so it's not nearly so crazy sensitive. And we'll bring the camera over here. Alright, that should be everything. So if we hit crafting, we want to create the wood floor, nothing happens. Grab the player, pick up some more wood, I hit crafting, create floor, that close. We're now moving this, and if I hit build, he has done something. But he did not get this event. He is getting bad constantly. Why is he getting bad constantly? We need to he's probably getting that. Okay, so in this guy, I wonder if we should you can put a smaller delay into this. Like a next frame advanced. And give it like a 3-frame delay. Let's copy that. Now, when he says built, let's FSM enable. And we are going to disable him and disable him. And then the very end, we're going to disable ourselves. Okay. Let's see. We need to move the player, pick up our wood, go crafting, go create, move him around, say hit click, and he's now placed. And he's good, nothing happens. If we click on him, we see all his FSMs are down, and I don't know if we told him to enable these. Yep, he's not a trigger, he is a box collider, he is normal, he is built. Okay, I'm just going to save that. So all that's left now is the snapping. So what we're going to do is up here, he has a set position, right? And all we're going to do is make an FSM called snap. And in this FSM, we are going to do a sphere cast and give it a radius like, I don't know, maybe 2. No, wait, we don't want to do a sphere cast. We want to do an overlap. And not any of those. So into the ecosystem, we want, come on, you can do it. I have faith in you. Here, I'll even re-hit it. Okay, so we don't want the box, we want the sphere. You can also use the array list as well. Might be a better option, but so now we want to get overlap sphere. So say, I don't know, 2 from owner. Sure, owner's fine, but from position, we need a position. Well, we just happen to have a little buddy under our builder that has a hit position every frame. So we can overlap sphere on that hit position. And we are going to build an array. And we can, the other thing we want to do is, so on our wood floors, if you remember, these all have a socket layer, right? So that's what we want to hit. We don't want to hit anything else. We don't care about anything else. We're looking for the sockets. So once we have that, all we want to do is array get next time our things hit, we're going to loop. And we have it done. And we have a current socket. So what the other thing we need is this wood floor has a tag. Okay? So the other thing we need is I'm going to get the tag of get FSM game object of the builder, the currently building. This is the building piece, and I spelled piece wrong. And of the building piece, this is our tag. So we have this tag. Now we technically don't need to do this on the loop, but we will anyways. It's not like it's that big of a deal. We can always use an event to start this whole thing, stop the whole thing, and so forth. If we go into building or whatnot. So that's probably a good idea. We should probably set that up in a minute. So we get all this stuff. We get these tags, and all we want to do is on this loop is we want to string compare the build tag to get tag again of the building, no, not the building piece, current socket, sorry, socket tag, and we're going to compare those two, and if they're equal, snap. Not equal, don't snap. I'm just going to put a next frame into this guy. Next frame. Let's not have the system going too frickin' Mach 5 speed here. So if we're going to snap, how should we do the snap? Well, back in okay, good. I was like, oh my god, we're building this in the wrong spot. Okay, so back in our builder, let's do snap piece. Okay, so is null, is that every frame? It is. So if snap piece is not null, this thing's just going to snap. And all we're going to do then is so we don't need to get info, we don't care about that, we don't care about that. We do need a set position, but not to that. We need a get position of snap piece, which is now our new hip position. Don't even need it every frame. Don't even need this one every frame. because the snap position isn't moving. Okay, so we get the position, we set the position, and we need this. No, we don't need that. We need these. Right, so we still want to do, if we're going to build, we can try it. And if we're going to cancel it, we're going to cancel it. So, but we need a way to go back. Right, so if we raycast again, only I'm not going to call this one hit position. I'm going to call this one the snap return position. And then I am going to vector 3 operator. So I'm going to put this down underneath those. It's got to be after the get position and the raycast. So the return and the hit position, right? Because this guy is the return, but the snap piece is the hit position. And we want a distance. And that's this guy. Every frame, and float compare. Now this is where things could get a little sticky, because you want this compare to be greater than in that sphere cast. Guess it's not in here, but it's sphere cast, right? So if distance, right, and we set that one for 2. So with this one, let's go 3.5. The 3 is probably good enough, but so if we are greater than that, let's just not snap anymore. Every frame. We're going to go up here. So I was just thinking of something, and we will need to I'm going to add just a mini state here. So because the other one is going to be doing some stuff that could mess things up on us. This snap piece, I'm going to alter that just slightly. I'm going to make set game object. So we're going to make a new variable called snap temp, and he is going to be the same as snap piece. But that way now, if we screw around with the snap piece, it's not going to screw around with this logic. Okay. So when he snaps, now all he has to do is set FSM game object in the builder, the snap piece to the current socket. Finish. And when he finishes, we could probably really don't need to go there, I suppose. We could just go back over here. So with this guy, if we do get it done, we want to set this guy a null. Alright. So let's just give ourselves a quick check. So I'm going to place a part here so we have something to snap to. Better not make him too far from the player. Right, so of course he's green because he was built weird. But that's okay. So we need the player to go pick up the wood. And we need to open up our crafting, create a block. Let's see. He is not snapping. So let's take a quick look. And he isn't moving. I was worried about that. So let's just get a next frame event. Stick him here. We'll force him over. Because he has a unfound. Maybe we should just do that instead of the next frame. See if that guy works a little better for us. So again, let's just grab some of those. Go crafting. And let's see what he is doing. He is supposed to be hitting the socket layer. And he has, oops, I clicked on something and screwed something up. Okay, so why? I guess he's running right now. We can just actually, no, he's not running. So let's just, I guess, just grab this stuff again. Craft, create. Right, because technically right there, pause. Not crafting. That's not going to help us. So he says, get the current game piece. Yes. Okay. Yes. Of course. Of course, of course. So let's make this the start. And we just need an event. An event called stop. Alright, so now, so when we go to build, right, so whether he goes here or here, we need an event. To our owner, to the snap, to stop. And we need an event here, up top. No, not up top. Yeah, okay, you know what? Let's just move some of this stuff. Okay, so we have build. I'm just going to put build up here instead. And just do a finish down here. And I'm going to move this and this up here. Alright, so that he should now pick up his references, because that's well, he was happening. He just couldn't see anything. Right, so he picks that stuff up. We hit craft. And no, he's not. Snapping still. So let's go over here. So at least now he says, okay, we've got the object, we got the tag, we get this stuff. He hits a whole bunch of wall sockets, but he isn't following this thing. So that little event thing isn't working for us, so I'm just going to put that thing back on and take this guy off. Okay, so the other thing I was just thinking of, so our sockets, like our wood floor, collision check. Needs to not hit our socket layer. I'm just going to invert that. Oh, there is no inverting on this one. Okay, well, then we won't worry about that right now. I'll figure something out after. Okay, so now we take the player and we're going to go pick up those. Go crafting, go create. Oh, there we go. Oh, we have an issue with our return. It snapped, but we have an issue with the return. So, and that's probably where, like I said, like things can get kind of sticky there. With these distances, because if he starts snapping away and then this goes, things can get all ballistic. So I'm just gonna, for now, I'm gonna throw in an next frame event here, and I'm gonna put one over here too on the not snap anymore. Finish up here, copy him, paste him there, hit play. So grab our little player, move him around, grab some of those, go crafting, go create. We can't get too far, he's moving, he comes over here and he snaps, right? And he's still green. If I try to move away, okay, he needs a little bit of a tweaking. So now he still has this little issue, he still wants to snap constantly. Right? So let's just move them over here and hit pause. Control Shift P. And what we'll probably see is he is hitting wall sockets and foundations. But it's going to be up in this guy here. That is coming down. Snap return, ignoring the player. Let's see, yeah, see, it's this guy here that's going ballistic, right? Control Shift P. So why is he going ballistic? So we get a distance, and it's 9.7. So yeah, he's like, oh my god, we need to stop snapping. But this guy up here, he's like, no, like you have something here. You need to snap. Meanwhile, this guy, okay, yeah. So, let's see if we can add something into this. So he needs to be null and his distance needs to be less. So let's see if this works, conditional expression. This might solve all our issues. So snap piece, spell it right, is equal, no, not equal null. That might have to be, and let's get another. Let's make a variable here. So we have a distance for return. Okay, I have an idea for that. And distance to return is less than 2. So we spelled that totally wrong. Distance for return. I'm just going to go like this just to make sure it's spelled right. There we go. And so if the snap piece is not null, so we have something to snap to, and this distance for return is less, if that's true, we need to snap. This needs to be every frame. So we need this distance for return. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go and we are going to get this and copy him, put him up here above that. So the hit position, which is coming from the ray on this one, and we need a get position, and this is going to be of the snap piece. We can call this one snap return. So snap return and the hit point. That has to be every frame though. And then we have this. Let's see, and if not, we'll just build another FSM that does takes care of part of that for us. So let's just go and pick those up. Crafting. We're here. We snap, we move. We snap, move. Pretty fancy. So there we have snapping and collision checking. And if I hit click, there we go. Right now, this guy here should obviously be in his normal material too, but he's not because of how we built him. So, oh man, 49 minutes. I don't know if I need to even do any more. We have, oh, you know what? Let's just check one more quick thing. Yeah, okay, can't craft. Let's make sure we're subtracting, right? Because if we look at the player, we see quantity. We have 20 wood. Now if I craft, I build, I've clicked build, we still have that 20 wood. Right, so that part we still need to fix up. Right, because we're over here. And why we're in this state is beyond me. Because we have a continue. So we don't need a continue. We need a finished. Alright, so let's just do a real quick test on that again. We pick those up, we go craft, and we hit that. Player should be down. He's at 15. Should he be at 15? I never looked before. Why didn't I look before? Okay, so what does the player have? He currently has 20. If I create and place, no. So there is some work here that needs to happen. So I guess there will be one more video just touching up some stuff, but we'll save that for another time. We'll talk to you guys later.